Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Cosmic Tea. It is me. It is July 2023. Whatever that means. Whatever. I don't even know sometimes, what. Do you ever just walk outside or look out the window and it's just kind of what the fuck is anything? I mean, if you're here, I'm assuming you're like me. All of my clients are like me. A lot of people in my, audience, whatever it is, are like me, where it's I'm highly emotional, highly sensitive, naturally existential and reflective, and very rarely I walk out into the world and see that perception reflected back at me. You know what I mean? When sometimes you just make eye contact with someone and they know, and you know that they get it. They get where you're coming from, but sometimes you're just walking around and you're like, oh my God, does no one else just think this is all so crazy? What the fuck is going on? I'm so confused. Why aren't we all just laying around naked, eating fruits and rolling around with animals? I'm so confused. Honestly, it's why I can't watch. There's a lot of things I can't watch. Avatar. I know you thought I was going to say true crime or violence. No, I could watch that all day, but Avatar, it's devastating, it just brings up so much about the way life could be and the indigenous way. All right, I'm going to roll it back in. Here I am, rolling back in. All right, so this podcast episode is from an IG Live, and it's about how creative flow can affect decision-making. I forget how I even got from one place to another, but this is inspired by my clients. My clients and I we're going through the waves of life all the time. It's working together isn't about just, there's one goal and we're just going to beat the pavement until we get there. It's yes, we get clear on goals and desires, but then the reality is those things change when we go deeper into the healing and deeper into the emotional body patterning and whatnot. Things come up, things come up in life that don't feel easy in the body, in the mind, in the spirit. And anyway, I love doing this work with people. This is the human design projector in me. I'm a 3/5 emotional projector. I excel in very, very, very deep one-on-one work. And literally, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going deep into the emotional body, the emotional psyche, either of the collective or an individual, and how it all links together. Anyway, this podcast, I think, is a good one. I got a lot of feedback on Instagram from it, so I hope you like it. What's going on this month that I want to tell you? One-on-one. I get also a lot of questions well, how do I work with you one-on-one? How do I get into these client containers or whatever? Coaching. I'm so over even caring what words I use. I do. My style is a mix between coaching, mentoring, and then obviously everything I do is based in intuitive divine work, right? But bridging the two worlds, kind of how do we apply all of this energetic shit happening to real life? Because you are here, you are in your body, and there's a purpose for that. And we want to feel good in that. It doesn't matter what words we throw around, quantum, timeline, karma, whatever all of it is, we're only ever going to understand it so much. We need to figure out, how is this creating patterns in my life here and now? And how can I expand in a sustainable way and feel fucking good, right? Feel connected with the infinite, with the truth of life. What the fuck was I even saying? Oh, God help me. I have one-on-one intro sessions open. Basically, before going into a longer term container with me, we have to do an 80-minute, I want to go into your fields. So you can either start with a galactic Akashic session, deep dive, obviously, into your patterning accumulated within your emotional body via lives in other galaxies, dimensions, timelines, fragmentations, and so on. It's all in your emotional body. I channel information from light being collectives, which really is just another way of saying like nice aliens. I have that quite refined at this point, and it's exciting. And this is where I explore like, what are your incarnation intentions here and now? Like, what wave of starseed are you, and how does that apply to your current expression, your current, what we might refer to as karma, different grooved in patterns that we can rearrange so that you're not stuck in them, right? Through the different dimensions. How to like embody all of this to live a life with more joy, better intuition, more open intuition, prosperity, like whatever shit you want. And then also, why are we denying wanting shit? 'Cause that is a part of this incarnation. Then I also have the quantum inner child things. Same general idea. I'm going into your emotional body. I'm looking at the patterning. It's just more focused on through the lens of the divine inner child. So we always talk about all these guides, all these spirit guides, fucking angels, spirit guides, ancestors, aliens, blah, blah, blah. Love them all. Cool ass shit. But at the end of the day, I believe, and this is what I've been directed to just through my own channeling work, having started, with specific guides, specific ET groups and whatnot. I'm always guided to the divine inner child, because who knows you better than your own inner child in this incarnation, functioning in a reality prior to conditioning. And that's your higher self. You see what I'm saying? And if there is a guide, like if someone's connecting to a guide who tells you anything else, right? Anything else besides learn how to trust yourself. Learn how to trust and communicate with yourself. Then I don't want anything to do with a guide like that. You see what I'm saying? So it all comes back to that anyway. So either pathway you want to take, that is how we can start working together. Of course, I have programs and pop-ups and all that stuff, but right now the readings are lit. It's like summer reading, summer sessions. Love that. All right. This was like the longest intro ever, but I feel like we talked some good stuff. Okay. Everything's linked in the show notes. I love you so much. Enjoy. Bye. Hello. Good morning. This is, what's another word for random? Impromptu? Or like flow. This is just a flow pop-up. A way to kind of get some thoughts out and share a few things I think would be helpful. So, something that we as humans are always doing is making decisions, right? We're always making decisions all day. Little decisions, and then you have the big decisions. So in this moment, I'm just going to speak on some of the bigger choices that we might make. It's inspired by a few clients of mine, but then also my own story and how using the practice of Kundalini and a non-dualistic approach to decision making, and how that can really have a ripple effect out in our lives, just how we approach day to day with our mind, right? Anyway, so the first step in decision making is to tell yourself it's okay not to know right now, and really reflect on, how am I internalizing external pressure? How am I internalizing the illusionary construct of time to make this decision? Am I letting that make me feel rushed? Am I believing that this decision is like either right or wrong? So the idea of right and wrong is rooted in the dualistic nature of illusion. Does that even make sense? Dualistic. Yeah, the nature of illusion is duality. Right, wrong, right? Good, bad. Separate. So I see a lot of projection onto decision making, obviously, from this very like black and white thinking, right or wrong. That's going to immediately spiral most of our nervous systems into fight flight, because we believe that it is survival to make the right decision. So to give ourselves first that understanding, like, oh, okay, my body's reacting like this. Where is that reaction coming from? Okay. Where is this pattern coming from? Conditioning, the inner child. So the emotional body, this field, is the non-physical piece of our nervous system. So that's relating all the time, and it's being filtered through the constructs of our mind. So to receive a more expansive, a more, feeling of that divine consciousness within our decision making, the mental body has to be in the frequency of neutrality, not positive, negative. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of how I flush out ideas, because it's like I'm doing my crafts and I'm thinking this, and I'm like, well, this is helpful. This is helpful. So that's the first piece of awareness. When you are presented with a decision that doesn't feel simple, and it's creating a response, and you're getting the anxiety, and that's the first piece, what I just said. And even to go as far as, and this is what I do, and this is what I've done in the past, write in my journal, it's safe to not know right now. And all of the parts of my mind saying, I need to figure this out right now. If I don't figure this out, I'm beep fucked. Or what if I make this decision and then you go down the whole path, I make this decision and then all of this happens, blah, blah, blah. We cannot know all of those things. That is all projection from the positive or the negative mind, not the neutral. And the reason I love Kundalini and the technology of it, obviously, is because it is, the main focus is the neutral mind. All of the Kriya, all of the breathing, all of the mantra, everything essentially is to free the mind. And that is where we find pure freedom. So when it comes to decision making, accepting that it's okay to not know, because oftentimes what we think we know, we actually have no idea. We have no idea the ripple effects of our decision. And there's not right or wrong. There's not. It's an illusion in itself. So being able to unhook the mind, to relax the body into not knowing, is the first step. And the second step is to refine the mind and trust that the energetic laws of the universe can work in this way. That you maybe don't have to make the decision when you're all anxious about it, and maybe it could just present itself to you with a lot more ease. Are you open to that possibility? Another question for yourself. Am I open to this being easy? Am I open to this not being urgent? Am I open to there not being a right or wrong decision? And, you know, I have clients who are like, do I stay in this nursing program in Colorado for another year? Or do I move back to Kentucky and continue there? You know, that's one decision a client of mine recently we were working through. Another decision, do I pursue this training? Do I become a teacher or do I not? You know, do I mean, we could go, you know, a one for me years ago was, do I go back to school? Part of my personal story is I dropped out of college in 2000. I should know the year by now. 2008. Yeah, 2008. And just a few years, like 5 years ago, I was like, I don't know what I was like, I was nannying and I was just like, I can't do this anymore, but I don't know what to do, right? So my chatter mind was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how this is going to work ever. And I just wrote in my journal, you know, I got this wave over me. Is it okay to not know? How can I be okay not knowing right now? Because making a decision out of this fight-flight response, making a decision from the projections of conditioning isn't going to get me where I actually believe I want to go. And so the second step, I was told, really it was just an opening of the higher mind, right? I mean, I could attribute it to this spirit guide or this ET guide or whatever, but essentially it doesn't matter. Essentially, it's elevating your consciousness to the neutral mind, which is the higher mind, the higher self, which is then, it's much more easy to assimilate to the divine flow, the divine mind, with that perspective, right? Without that projection. And so it said, refine your mind. And so for me at the time, I know how to refine my mind, and it's through Kundalini yoga. And I knew it was like my only job is to refine my mind. All these external decisions, like, do I get another nanny job? Do I continue my surf business? I think at the time it was like, do I break up with my boyfriend? I mean, a lot of things were happening. And I didn't know. And I knew that all of the angst and the fear was like really thwarting my ability to make a decision from a more expansive place. And to move into a more expansive timeline, I need to change the frequency of my mind. And so I did that. And within 3 months, my life changed. I don't say that lightly. I mean, I, moved into being able to start this, which is now business completely online with my work that supports me. I did not see this 5 years ago. I left my partner, found a new, beautiful partner. Obviously I'm never going back to college. I mean, never say never, but regardless, the point, whatever decision you're making is question the illusion, question the projections, and commit to refining the mind. And it can sound so complicated, like how the fuck do I start to refine my mind? Because the mind's going like this, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. I recommend mantra. It's a great start. It physically stimulates the vagus nerve, brings the body into a safe state. When you're chanting, the vibration moves energy, obviously. It gives your mind, so it gives the duality of mind a focus on a formula. That is what a mantra is. It is the nod. It is a formula that is resonant with the higher mind. So you're taking the duality and you're bringing it to focus. You're just planting a seed within your mental body to come back to. And the more that you water that seed, it can bloom. And then it's like you can have more access to that neutrality when you're not chanting. And so, again, when it comes to a decision, really question the pressure you have on yourself about the decision and where that pressure is coming from. It's not coming from your higher mind. It's not coming from God. It's not coming from your guides. And I see, it's kind of a tangent, but I do see a lot, like, as I scroll the internet, a lot of stuff, it's like, my guides told me this. My guides told me this. I went to the Akashic Records and I was told this, to do this. You know, there's a lot of ego in some of the guides that work with us. That's why they're there. A lot of them are like still navigating some of the lower frequency egoic attachments, which is fine, whatever, aren't we all? But if there's a guide or some like higher you know, you're attributing this like wise something, telling you anything else, like around a decision, telling you like this is the right decision, this is the wrong decision, I would really just kind of dismiss that and come back to yourself and attune yourself and then see what else you connect with. Honestly, any guides I've ever connected with have told me nothing aside from essentially refine your mind. So yeah, like Bob Marley says, free your mind from mental slavery. Right? It's a lyric. Okay, so that was it, but I feel like this was valuable. Thank you for anyone who sat here with me. Thank you to anyone who's watching this after, because I feel like that's where it like gets hot, you know, it's like posted after and people catch on to it. If you hopped in at the end, take a look back at my feed to catch the beginning. And I'm also going to see if I could make this a podcast episode, because I think it's good. Like, who isn't, we all get stressed about making decisions, and I think that the pressure is the illusion, and we create the pressure in our mind. When we stretch our mind, possibilities stretch, right? Time stretches. Time is an illusion within the mind, and you know, the mind holds different frequencies with different thought patterns, and different dimensions of the mind create the experience of different dimensions in our physical reality. Okay, so when we expand the mind, when we elevate the mind to a different frequency, we will experience a different frequency outside of ourselves. And it's powerful. It is powerful. Like, there are so many practices, there's so many rituals, and there's beauty in all of it. I love it. But in my belief, in my understanding and experience, at the end of the day, we need a simple, systematic technology that frees the mind. That's it. Everything is a distraction to the war within. I believe that with all of my being. Everything is a distraction to the battle within, right up here. As a collective and as an individual. So this is where we start. This is where we start. And I'm so fucking stoked on that. I love this shit. This is my favorite fucking shit ever. And I love you. And thank you.